This deck is perfectly fine to get you out of Solar Gold and also has the potential to completely annihilate those $2,000 decks. To lead by example and show you that this deck can be played at any certain rank you are and from there reach Mythic with, we have deranked all the way to rank 1 to show you that this deck can be played from rank 1 to rank 12.
Yeah, Mr. White! Yes, science!
The Atlanteans were always around, but with the release of the new set Tides of Fate, the archetype is not only playable, but it is one of the best decks in the current meta if your deck contains these cards. Alright, so this is the deck that I've used for this challenge. It's an Atlantean deck made by 40. As we can see, I've managed to get a win rate of 89.2% with this deck. Keep in mind that I've used only this deck from rank 1 till rank 12. It took me 83 matches in total with only 9 losses. Need to also mention that the deck price is around a little bit above $300, so definitely not a budget deck. But if you don't mind spending a couple $100 on some Atlanteans, or specifically this deck, I would recommend you to do it, though it's not financial advice. So this is the deck and these are the cards in it. We have only 2 spells, which are Atlantean specific, and 28 Atlanteans, so that we have the Atlantean synergy at maximum. Deck code can be found in the descriptions. There are 2 synergies you need to take into consideration. Either your top card is an Atlantean and the card ability activates then, or you can buff your Atlantean on the board. For this deck to be exceptionally effective, we must include Atlanteans. We have some moving space, so don't worry. We can replace some cards that you might not have with these substitutions. Good picks are Broken Harvester, Portable Fortress, Dwarf Atlant or Abyss Watcher. Generally speaking, this deck is a super fast, super strong tempo powerhouse deck that can easily get your opponent to 10 HP by turn 4 if you can control the board and can establish a strong board presence. The point of this deck is to play cheap Atlanteans and gradually, with strong tempo plays on curve, play out your 2, 3, 4 drops. The other Atlantean synergy that we mentioned are Atlanteans on board. To maximize your winning chances, you must capitalize on this synergy and at all cost keep your creatures alive for them to receive buffs. One thing to mention about Boost Walker, that it is an insanely good card, don't sleep on it. Biggest tempo play in Gods Unchained, period. If you can, include this card in your Atlantean deck at all cost. If you play this card on turn 3 by giving its buff to a friendly Atlantean, you are putting yourself in a very favorable situation. So the strength of this deck lies in creatures on a board. With this said, its weakness lies in the opposing statement. Once your opponent can clear your creatures, you aren't able to establish yourself and you just ran out of juice. Most likely, you won't be able to come back because you don't have any removal spells and you have only a handful of reactive cards, which are all creatures. One of the deck's best reactive card is Atlant Raptor. Atlant Raptor is a great synergy card with the Atlanteans, usually works 93% of the time if you run 2 spells. 2 damage for 2 mana with a 2/3 body, and this roar effect can be targeted on face if you need that extra reach. Combine this with your hero power and the beam sentry, and that is 4 damage for 5 mana. Keep this in mind, it might come in handy. Another great card is Atlant Forager. Atlant Forager is the Atlantean version of Axwoman, but better. For 1 less mana, you're gaining Blitz, and you're able to foresee 2 cards, potentially setting up your deck for the upcoming 2 turns to have even better plays. And if your opponent hasn't got a removal god power, then don't be afraid to even play this out on an empty board on turn 1 just to set up your next draws. Scuttler's Sentry and Time Bomb are great cards, and not exactly reactive cards in a sense that they don't do something immediately when summoned, but their afterlife abilities, if you can effectively utilize them, can give you just enough of a tempo swing to swing the game in your favor to get that advantage you need to establish yourself. In this deck, every card has some kind of synergy with every other card. I won't talk about every card in particular, unless you want me to. Say that in the comments so that I'll know how to do the next video. And we have a Lonely Mana-starved construct. You may ask, why do we have this card even in this list? Well, because of its Foresee ability. For example, there are some matchups, particularly against Control, where the game is a bit slower and you're struggling to maintain board presence. And with Mana-starved construct and Foresight Thesis, you can set up and find Francesca. But finding is not enough. Francesca is an interesting card that when played, if you control 4 or more Atlanteans, she summons Project Rise, 15/15 God-Blitz creature with Protected, with an ability that if the creature attacks and kills a creature, it may attack again. So this is the secret sauce to this deck. Let's see some other examples. Undertow Striker will guarantee you to draw Foresight Thesis. And if you don't know why that is, check out this video where I explain in detail. So there is always a certain 5 mana draw, 3 Atlanteans and Foresee 2. And we reach Undertow Rover, and there is a hidden reaction with this card. Well, not a hidden, a logical one. And did you know that in Gods Unchained, at the end of your turn, effects start from left to right, so the placement of your creatures can be crucial. The interaction with Enduring Archive can support this. If Enduring Archive is on the right side of Undertow Rover might give him Protected. So I really hope you guys like this short introduction deck review of this list that I used to gain Mythic with, starting from rank 1. I really wanted to showcase you a deck that is particularly good in every rank you are to gain Mythic with. And in the last segment of this video, I want to showcase you a game against Agro Light that perfectly portrays the strength of this deck. Enjoy! Don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you guys in Mythic and in the next video.